everyone. I hope you're having a really great day. Welcome back to my channel, and for anyone who is new today, just coming to my channel for the first time, welcome. I hope that you stick around. I'll tell you a little bit about my channel. Basically, we're predominantly nails here. I do throw in a few beauty things here and there, maybe a haul, maybe a get ready with me, but basically we do all nails here on my channel. I review live application reviews of pretty much anything I can get my hands on. I always welcome requests. So yeah, I pretty much do any new collection I can get my hands on, even drugstore levels. So I really feel that live application is what you need in order to get a good idea of what a polish is going to look like before you purchase it. So that's what we do here on my channel. So I hope that you stick around and subscribe, and then you won't miss any of my reviews. So today, as you saw from the pictures earlier, we are going to be looking at the OPI Venice collection. This is the new collection for fall 2015, and it consists of 12 polishes in the display. There are 3 limited edition polishes which were not in the display that I was able to purchase for this review, but if I'm able to get my hands on them, as soon as I'm able to get my hands on them, I'll put up an extra little review on those 3 polishes. So today we're going to be looking at the basic 12 line of polishes. And let me just tell you a little bit about these. I was really happy with formula on all of them. They're basically all really great 2-coaters. With the exception of like pretty much one or two, they're pretty much all creams, and I really actually enjoy that. So this was nice for me. It's a nice subdued collection, but they're mixing some great basic neutrals and a few like pastel-y shades with some darker shades. So I thought that was really interesting, gives some nice diversity. So the OPI Venice collection is set to release at the beginning of August, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I did read online somewhere that these were only going to be available at select salons, but the girls at my Sally's said that they are preparing to display it at their Sally's, so you can check there or at salons. Also, don't forget this week to stop back on by, because we are going to be reviewing a few more exciting collections. I have the China Glaze Great Outdoors collection to share with you. I also have the Essie Silk watercolor collection to share with you, with a little live demo of how you can use those, live demo in action of how I use them. And then we're going to be taking a look at the Color Provalis collection that you can find in Walgreens. I picked up 5 shades from them, and I'm going to review them for you and show you kind of what my experience was with them. We're also going to be looking at the Misa Summer 2015 collection, and we have the Pretty Serious collection, the 3 new nail anthology polishes that came out, and 3 extras on their website too that are recently released. So I have lots of fun reviews for you this week, so don't forget to stop back on by. We're just going to go ahead and dive right in. We're going to talk about them for a little bit, but mostly we're just going to look at live applications so that you can see what to expect with these polishes. I will also be making small suggestions about if there are possible dupes within the OPI line already for the color that you're looking at, because that's something that I get asked a lot. Is this similar to such and such? My OPI collection is not super vast, but I'll do the best I can with letting you know if something is very similar to something that I already have. Okay, so let's start out with the first neutral in this collection. It is called Canoli Wear OPI, and it's a very light gray. In fact, OPI describes this as a pale creamy gray. So basically this, like all of them, like I already explained, it's great at 2 coats. It's nice and creamy. I found no formula issues, so I probably won't repeat that for the rest of them. Just so that you know, there weren't any in here that I really couldn't work with, so I was really impressed. So yes, this is very light gray. The thing that in my collection this compares to the closest is My Boyfriend Scales Walls. So My Boyfriend is over here, and I Can Only Wear OPI is over here on my thumb. So they're pretty close, but I feel like My Boyfriend Scales Walls has a little bit more white in it. But I will be showing you side-by-side pictures of those two so that you can compare and see if they're different enough that you really need this one. But let's go ahead and look at live applications so you can see how it works. Okay, the next one up in the display, moving from left to right, across the bottom is a very light blue-green. I feel like they describe this as a very fair pastel blue, but I do feel like it has a little bit of green in it, and it is called Gelato on My Mind. Really, really cute. Again, applies so great. In my collection, the closest thing that I have to this is Can't Find My Checkbook, which as you can see is way darker. So this is really unique to my collection. And again, like I said, it's described as a pastel blue, but I really do feel like it has some green in there. So maybe just a very, very light turquoise. But again, I think it's gorgeous. So I'm probably not going to show you the side-by-side shots on this one because they're just way too different. So let me go ahead and show you how this applies. Okay, the next neutral in the collection is called Be There in a Prosecco, and OPI describes this as an opaque cream shade. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like that's fairly accurate. Of course, again, this applies so great in 2 coats. I think it's really delightful on the skin or on your nails, but I did find that it was fairly similar to a polish I already had in my collection. So again, I'm going to show you them up next to each other. The one that I feel like it compares to is My Vampire is Buff. So My Vampire is Buff is over here, and Be There in a Prosecco is over here. So as you can see, they're fairly similar. I feel like basically the only difference is My Vampire is Buff is slightly more yellow toned, just slightly. But really they are very, very close dupes for each other. I'm going to be showing you side-by-side pictures of these swatched on the nail after the live application so that you can see. I think it's nice. It's nice and it's good and bad that they're so close. Good because I feel like My Vampire's Buff is a great go-to that a lot of people enjoy. So here's another polish that's very, very similar, and it also has a great formula, so it's a good go-to. But really, if you already have My Vampire's Buff, you probably don't need Be There in a Prosecco. But I'm going to show you live applications so you can decide for yourself. The next polish that we're going to talk about is the first of 2 purple polishes in this collection, so of course that makes me very happy. It's a light purple and it's called Purple Palazzo Pants, and OPI describes this as a light lilac. I think that it's slightly dusty. I feel like it has a little bit of gray in there, but of course for me that even just makes it more perfection. Again, great at 2 coats. In my collection, the closest thing that came to this was my dustier purples, and I have some dusty purples, but they're all much darker. So for example, Hello Hawaii from the Hawaii collection, here they are side by side. Here's Hello Hawaii, so see, much darker. And then planks a lot. Here they are side by side. So as you can see, nothing really too dupeable, at least in my collection. Yes, it's a nice light lilac that, yeah, I didn't really have something super comparable to. So I thought that was really, really nice. Let me go ahead and show you how it applies at 2 coats. Okay, next up we're going to talk about the first of 2 reds in this collection, and this is just the basic red cream that they've given us, and it's called Amore at the Grand Canal, and OPI just describes this as a ravishing red. I feel like this is a very great classic red. It's a little bit on the dark side, so if you're looking to differentiate it between all of the other reds in the entire world, it's nothing really too different or special, but basically it's just slightly darker than maybe your basic red. Okay, the second purple in the collection is a deep dark eggplant, and it's called Oh Suzi Mio. So here's what it looks like. It's very, very deep, very chic, gorgeous. I loved this one. I would definitely go for 2 coats on this one, even though you can get pretty good coverage at 1, but I think it's going to serve you better with 2. I know people are going to wonder how closely this polish compares to Avant to Bite My Neck. So here is Vaunt to Bite My Neck, and here is Oh Suzi Mio over here. As you can see, they're very similar, but Oh Suzi Mio I feel like has a little tiny bit more red in it, but they are very, very close. They're going to look very similar on the nail, but Vaunt to Bite My Neck is just slightly more blue toned. So here they are. I'm going to be going ahead and showing you live application of Oh Suzi Mio right now with a swatch picture, and then I will show you side by side with Vaunt to Bite My Neck. Okay, the next polish in the collection, surprise, surprise, they gave us a black. It's called My Gondola or Yours. And it's not the most opaque black I've ever seen, like blackout black by any means, but that's because it has a little bit of luster to it. The promotional material just calls this a luscious black, but they don't tell you that there's a little bit of luster in there, which you will be able to see in the live application swatch. It doesn't show up a ton when you put it like in your picture, but especially with top coat, you will be able to see it a little bit. In my collection, really the only thing I had from OPI that was very similar is the 4 in the Morning from the Gwen Stefani collection. So of course, as you can see, this is the Gwen Stefani over here, but that one dries to a satin matte finish. So that's how those are different. So I don't really feel like, well, I guess if you top coated this, it would probably be very similar to my Gondola or yours. But in any case, if you were looking for your new favorite black, this might be the one. So let's go ahead and take a look at application. There are 5 polishes left. Let's look at the third neutral in the collection. They've given us another neutral. It's called Tiramisu for 2, and OPI describes this as a sweet coffee cream polish. So another really just great light neutral. We don't have a ton of super dark neutrals in here, but a great light neutral. I'm going to show you 3 polishes in my collection that this compares to, but not an exact dupe for, because it's slightly different than each of them. So first up, we have Don't Bossa Nova Me Around. So the reason that these are different is I feel like the Don't Bossa Nova Me Around is again on this side, and as you can see, it has a little bit more white in it. It doesn't quite have as much tan in it as Tiramisu for 2, but as you can see, they are very similar. All right, the next one I want to compare it to is Do You Take Layaway from the Hawaii collection. Again, that's on this side, and they are very similar, as you can see, but Do You Take Layaway has a little bit more of a yellow tone in it. So again, kind of going the opposite direction. The last one I showed you was less tan, and this one I feel like has a little bit more tan in it. So there's those 2. And another one, kind of the last one that I think that this is very similar to, at least in the polishes that I own, is Let Them Eat Rice Cake. And again, that's here on this side. And that one, it's very similar, but it's definitely a little bit more pink toned. And it doesn't have, in my opinion, as nice of a formula. So those are the 3 in my collection that I feel like it's very similar to, but I didn't feel like you could call any of those 3 an exact dupe for Tiramisu for 2. So let's go ahead and take a look at live application. Okay, the next one, OPI is calling this a melon shade, but I feel like it's definitely more on like a warm peach side than a melon. I pulled out all the melons that I had, and they were all way too bright. I'll show you. I have too many things out in front of me. So here's all my melons, and they're all way too bright compared to this one. It's called a Great Opera-tunity. So as you can see here, it's kind of more just like a neutral polish with a tiny little bit of peach in it. I think this is really, really pretty. I didn't have anything in my collection that I could say was an exact dupe for this by any means. So let's go ahead and take a look at the application. All right, another polish that in my collection at least, I didn't have any OPIs that were similar to this, but I think that you will find within your collection that you probably have something very similar, and that's because this is a copper foil or metallic polish, and it's called Worth a Pretty Penne, and I love the name of that. It's the word penne like the pasta. And this one is so gorgeous. You can get away with one coat here. You probably want to just for the added dimension and finish. But it's kind of a rosy copper, hopefully, as you can see. So yeah, I really, really like this. It's just like a softened take on a copper, and I thought it was great. So let's take a look. Okay, probably the most unique polish in the collection, at least to me and my collection of polishes. This is called It's a Piazza Cake. It's what I've been wearing on my nails in this video. As you can see, it's like a delicious burnt orange shade. OPI calls it a persimmon shade. So I thought that was nice. Definitely unique for me. It's not a color that I would necessarily gravitate to all the time, but I think that it's actually really gorgeous on and really chic for this fall. It's great at 2 coats, so let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, the last polish in the collection, I felt like it was a little bit superfluous just because we have so many reds from OPI, but it's another red and it's called Gimme a Lido Kiss, and I really like that name again too. Instead of the word little, it's Lido. And it's basically a red just like the one I showed you, but this one is a little bit brighter and it has lots of shimmer in it. So this is really going to sparkle on your nails, whereas the other one is just like a deep, rich red. So in my collection, again, I guess this was most similar to Any Mitty Mighty Bow because of that shimmer aspect, but I think that this one has a little bit less berry in it. I'll go ahead and show you again. Here's Any Mitty Mighty Bow, and this one is Give Me a Lido Kiss. So as you can see, more red tone in here. Maybe more orange than purple in this new polish. So anyway, this was unique, but for me, I probably wouldn't need to pick up both reds, but of course, as OPI lovers and collectors as we are, sometimes we find ourselves picking up very similar things. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look how it swatches. Okay guys, so that's the whole collection. Like I said, there are 3 limited edition polishes. I will just show you right here in the promotional material. As you can see, they go along this side. They are limited edition and they were not included, they were not shown in the display at the salon that I picked these up at. And they are called Venice the Party, which is like an aquamarine, like a lustrous aquamarine. And that's this deep one here. And then there's a gold glitter, and it's called Baroque but Still Shopping. And as you can see, it's kind of like a light gold. And then last up we have St. Mark's the Spot, and it's a royal blue pearl, they're calling it. Here it is down here. So anyway, whenever I can get my hands on those, I will be sure to get them and put up a short separate video to just swatch those for you so you can see. If you really need to search them out, limited editions, so I don't know how difficult that will be to find them, but I will certainly look for them for you. Alright guys, so that's it from me today. I really enjoyed having you here. I hope to see you back for my next review, and until then, have a great day. Bye!